Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Tactful Thursday. Can you believe it's Thursday already? When did that happen? Like, really, when did that happen? It is Thursday already, y'all. And I pray that you're having a fantastic morning. I pray that your day will be constructive, that it'll be intentional, and it'll be one step towards your goals, the vision that you have for your life, all in alignment with your divine purpose. Amen. That's what we're all about. Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Juanita Mercer. I'm the founder and chief heart leader at Lead My Heart Executive Coaching and Consulting. And what you're watching right now is the third and last episode of my March series called Triads to Live and Lead By. Now, triad is not a word that we often use, but it is an idea that we're very familiar with. It means that there's three elements that work well together, that create a certain harmony, balance, and interdependent upon one another. You see it a lot in theories, math, science, art, music, leadership development, okay? And these are just core kind of dynamics of my coaching and consulting philosophy here at Lead My Heart. And so I wanted to use this opportunity this month to talk about, triads, the number three, what it represents, and just the power behind triads that makes, different theories and things that you teach much easier to remember and understand when it's broken down that way. And so, for you teachers out there, educators, fellow coaches, I would encourage you to utilize triads in what information that you share, okay, to just help people remember things easier and grab hold to it. Okay, so I just wanted to give you all a moment to get in here. This is going to be, again, an episode about accountability, y'all, self-accountability. But let's just go over some things. You know what I want you to do, right? I want you to first tag some, okay? Tag friends, loved ones, coworkers, your supervisor, okay? People on your team. Tag, don't hold this to yourself. Don't keep this to yourself, okay? Share this great information and coaching that everyone can take advantage of. Hi, good morning, Michelle. Thanks for joining me. Okay, tag some people, tag some friends. Hi, Shantae. It's great to see you. Thanks for joining in. Okay, so tag some friends, loved ones, colleagues, co-workers, supervisor, teammates, fellow business people, partners, tag them all. And then I want you to share this video on your stream, okay? Share this on your timeline. Share this in a group that you might be in on Facebook, okay? Or even copy the link to this video, copy it and put it in a text message or an email to get this out. Because today, y'all, we're talking about a very important topic, and that is self-accountability. And y'all, it is crucial. It is crucial to your success. So I'm so glad that you're joining me. And then for those of you who are watching on YouTube, you know what I want you to do? I want you to subscribe. And I want you to ring my bell. Okay, I sung for you this morning. I haven't sung for you the last two episodes, but I sung for you this morning. And that's what I want you to do. Ring my bell so that you don't miss any great content. Okay. Any that's going to be a blessing to you and help you become everything that God has called you to be as a leader, as an executive business owner, all that good stuff. Okay. All right, so let's get into it, y'all. Okay, so today, again, we're talking about self-accountability. For those of you who might just be joining in, not only am I host, but I'm producer. I got a lot of buttons to click. So bear with me as I get set up here. And then how about we also change the stream down there? Let me let you know about some shirts. There we go. I'll put that up right there for a second. All right, so here we go, self-accountability. And then today's triads are discipline, development, and discipleship. Okay. But let's first talk about and establish, the definition for self accountability. It's always important to start there. And so anytime you see me present, you hear me talk, if I'm in a conversation with you, you already know how I roll. I'm going to establish a definition. Let's be clear what I'm talking about. Have you ever been in a situation where you're going on and on in a conversation? The conversation even might get heated at one point to then realize that you're not even talking about the same thing. You don't even have the same definition of that thing. You're like, oh my gosh, we've actually been talking about the same thing this whole time and thinking that we're disagreeing. It's because you didn't first establish a definition. Okay. So we got to be careful with that and establish that definition. I don't notice that my background is weird. There we go. Now you can see my logo. Okay. And so self accountability, where I'm talking about the willingness, y'all, to take ownership of your own actions, your own choices, your own outcomes, and how you respond to life. Oh gosh, that response, y'all. We are accountable. We have to be responsible on the decisions that we make. I love what Paul says. Paul says, judge yourself lest you be judged. Okay, in First Corinthians. And it's so true that if we are first accountable, it would be really hard for someone else to try to come to us and say what we're not doing. When I see things that are just awful and things are just going the wrong way, I often stop and ask myself, gosh, why does someone else have to go to that person and say, this wasn't right? That this was out of order? That this is not the best way to do something? Why can't we come to ourselves more and say, girl, get it together? I do that. That's the kind of self-talk I have. Girl, get it together. That wasn't cool. We got to do better. That was not excellent. That's not the way we roll. That's not on brand. We can't continue, to respond this way or to have this mindset. That's not of God. That's not representative of who you are, your business, what you stand for. And we have to be self-accountable for the things that only we can control. Again, our mindset, our decision-making, the way we respond. And so that's what we're talking about today. Those things, y'all, that we are responsible for. No one else, just us. And what are those things? Discipline. We don't like the word discipline. We don't. Even when we think about the connotation of that word, and connotation, if you're not familiar with that word, is simply the emotions that go along with the word, how you feel about it. A different word may have a different connotation in a different context or within a different culture. Okay. That no one can dictate how a word should make you feel. It's just like when people say you shouldn't be offended. Well, you can't determine whether someone should be offended. If someone's offended, they're offended. Okay. We don't get to determine that, whether someone should or shouldn't be offended. And the same thing is with the connotation of a word. I don't get to determine how it makes you feel. But once you communicate how that word makes you feel, then I get to to choose. I make that choice as to whether I want to continue to use that word or not. Okay. And so it's all about choices. It's all about how we choose to respond. So when we think about this word discipline, we have to realize with discipline that discipline requires correction. It does. Discipline requires a metric. You have to have an idea of what it should be versus what it shouldn't be. For your metric, it could be we have many different metrics, right? We have as children what our parents say is right or wrong. In organizations, we have policies and procedures as to what that metric is. In my life of God as to what my metric is, okay? In communities and society, it's laws. And so in every area, we have these different metrics that tell us what things should be, what it should look like to guide us as to what should be corrected. And so that's what we use in life. But we also have this idea of development, that growth mindset, that we're always a work in progress. I'm not there yet. I'm not quite perfect yet, even though God is always perfecting us. We're not there yet. And then discipleship. Yes, and I'm talking about Christian discipleship. But also in the workplace, that discipleship could look like mentorship. It could look like empowering other people to become everything that God has created them to be, to empower them to do what they have the full potential to do in the workplace as well. So that's what we're talking about today, and how these all interrelate. Okay, so let's first talk about the role of discipline. So by definition, and this is again how I am framing discipline, it's the ability to consistently and intentionally. Let's slow down there. Consistently, every day, often, it's repetitive, it's on our schedule, right? And intentionally, strategically, I planned it. I'm on purpose. This isn't just by accident. My response isn't by accident. Mm. You know, the things that trigger you, right? That's a word we're using a lot now, but it's true. We all have different triggers as to can kind of bring us out of character, if you will, to kind of make us act off brand at times. And it's so important that we identify what those triggers are, so that we can develop the discipline to still respond in a way that is suited to our role, that is suited to our brand, that is suited to being children of God, that is suited to you maintaining your job, suited to you not making, daytime news as to how you responded and the consequences of that. That's real life. And as leaders, as executives, we have to keep our triggers in check. We have to be able to manage them. And you can't manage them if you don't know first what they are. Or maybe you know what they are, but you don't want to own it. You want to think you're somewhere else. You want to think you're beyond that. We all do. We would all love to say, gosh, I'm no longer triggered by that. That's no longer an issue for me. I no longer am bothered by that. But don't you know, it only takes the right set of circumstances sometimes to put us in a place that we don't want to be. And we have to be careful. We have to be guarded. As the word says, guard our hearts so that we don't act out of character, be caught off guard, put on the full armor of God. That's my motto. Put on the full armor, because let me tell you, every day is a battle. Every day we're at war, right? And so you want to know, you have to be able to identify them. And why? So that you can follow through on your commitments and goals. There are things you got to get done. There are things you need to achieve, and you don't have time to waste. None of us do. And so the discipline is the infrastructure for winning. Discipline is the infrastructure for finishing the task, for completing the project, okay, for getting to that milestone. And it's so important. And the benefits of discipline is that it's going to help you focus more. When you think about, discipline as to education, let's use that as an example, because at some point we've all been educated formally. And so within the education system, which I have a background in, maybe you do or don't. Gosh, over 16 years now as an educator. To improve focus, productivity, and effectiveness. Why? Because there's structure, there's repetitiveness, there's a schedule, there's policies and procedures in alignment with the goals that you want to reach. There's correction, there's assessment, right? That's what makes it discipline. because of the structure, because of the correction, because of the assessment. And it's going to help us when we have discipline, y'all, in our personal and professional life. That one life we have. Okay. And so that's why it's so important that we learn to embrace discipline, that we learn to desire it and want it in our life because it is necessary to our success. All right, so now let's talk about the importance of development. So by definition, I'm talking about the process of continuous learning and growth in both personal and professional life. We often see the importance of development in our professional life because we want something, right? We want the promotion. We want the higher salary. We want to learn the skills to be able to do work in a better way, in a more excellent way. We want to be able to have greater reach. We want to be able to be sustainable. So we see those tangible outcomes of development, okay? And it's much more easier, I think, at work or in the workplace and the organizations where we are. But we have to realize it's just as important in our personal life. It's not about the promotion, but it's about being a better spouse, a better daughter or son, a better auntie or uncle, right? It's about serving the community better, being a better servant leader, all those things that still add value to our life. It's to trust us and to rely on us because we are owning our skills. We're owning our own learning and development. We're about to be educated. I'm in a mental health program right now. It's like a ministry to equal. I'm misspeaking all of this. Okay, let me start over. I am in a mental health training program right now that is equipping ministry leaders in our communities, at churches, okay, in order to be better equipped to serve our congregations with regards to mental health. But it's also equipping families to be aware of mental health issues so that they know how to have those crucial conversations, so that they know how to observe changes in behavior that warrant some professional attention. Okay, I did a much better job that time of describing that. So what we're seeing is that even outside of the workplace, the need for this type of development so that we can serve each other better, so that we can have healthier relationships, so that we can be there for one another in a way that we're not often, if we're honest. And so development is important in both our professional and personal lives, and you're going to see the benefits of it, enhancing your skills, knowledge, and capabilities, leading to greater opportunities and success. And if you watch episode number 1, then you know, and also what I'm talking about here. We're just not talking about development. We're talking about power. We're talking about skills, knowledge, gifts, authority that comes with our development. So you can see how those are related. And then you're not going to get if you don't have the discipline. Okay. All right. So now let's move on to our third one, the impact of discipleship. Oh, it's so important. Y'all, discipline is our responsibility. Development is our responsibility, not our supervisors, not our organizations. Though I do want them to partner with you. Absolutely, they should partner with you on your development, but you should desire it. But also, the third thing, discipleship is your responsibility. We're not here in life to just work. Even as a leader in the position that you are, whether it is as an executive, middle manager, and up, and business owner, maybe a ministry leader, whatever leadership capacity that you hold, don't you know that God called you to that? That is a part of his plan, not just for you, but for your community, for your state, for your country. Yeah, it's so much bigger than you. It's a part of God's plan for humanity, of discipleship. But it is our responsibility. God's not going to do it on his own. He's not going to make us, okay, to become disciples. He gives the opportunity to choose to be disciples. And we have to be just as adamant about discipleship as we are our leadership. And so what am I talking about? I'm talking about having that spiritual foundation to guide one's life. And it's our commitment to love in our life and leadership. Do people feel God when they're around you? Do they feel his presence? When you speak, do they hear the voice of God, confirming things for them, talking to them in love? That's what it's about, y'all. And I can't emphasize this enough, that has to be not just in our life, in our home life, our personal life, friends, and our family. It's just as important that discipleship is Monday through Sunday, every single day. And it's not about you preaching and taunting your Bible and it's not about any of that. I'll give you an example. When I was teaching in China, one of my students during Christmas brought me a gift. She made this beautiful handmade gift for me. And while she was, giving me the gift, she said, "Teacher," that's how they called me. I loved it. She said, "Teacher, I want you to know how much we talk about you and how much we enjoy your class. We know that you love us." I'm not going to cry. I want to cry because every time I share this, it means so much to me. She said, "We know that you love us. We feel something in your classroom that we don't feel in other classrooms." I didn't have to preach to them. I just was. I didn't have to quote scripture to them. I just was, y'all. I just was a model. I just was a disciple. I just was a model of God's love for us in that classroom. And that's what it has to look like everywhere we are, everywhere we lead. Your team members should know that you love them. Your team members should know that they can depend on you. That's what it's all about. And we have to make a commitment to eating that way, to living that way every single day. But what are the benefits of that? When we live out our faith, people would ask me in China, and I'll be honest, I took every opportunity to be a witness. They would say, "Gosh, teacher, you're so energetic, you're enthusiastic, you're learning so much. How do you do that?" About the power of God. Oh, it's God's grace. He empowers me, he equips me because I know that he called me to be an educator. That's how I'm able to do it. And I love it. I have a passion for it. And I give it everything I've got. That's it. That's it. One of my colleagues there said, you believe in a God, don't you?" I was taken aback, and she said, you believe in a God, right? And I said, yes, I do believe in God. I do. She said, I can tell, because people who believe in a God, they talk differently. They act differently. You care about those students in a way that a lot of people don't care about those students. I was just being a witness. I can't help it that my office, anywhere I've been, has been a prayer closet for colleagues and coworkers, because they see my prayer life, they hear it, they see the benefits of a prayer life. I have no problem with that, you know? And it's not even so much about praying for people there as it is just knowing, them knowing that you are. Oh, I prayed for you last night. I prayed for our organization last night. I prayed for our leaders. We're going to get through this. All this change that's happening, we're going to get through it. Oh, I know we are. By God's grace, we're going to get on the other side of this, and we're going to be so much better for it. I know it's hard. I know it's difficult, but I'm praying. That's it. And when we live out our faith in a visible and authentic way, y'all, it's powerful. You be a role model for others, and you're a ripple effect of love, of kindness, of compassion in the world that needs it so desperately. So desperately. Okay. And so that's the importance of discipleship in our life and leadership, y'all. You don't have a commitment to just act like a child of God just on Sunday for an hour or two or three, depending on where you go to church, or on Saturdays, if you have Saturday worship, or on Wednesday nights when you might have a Bible study. That you think that's it? No, you're expected to live that, to be a role model of that. And it's so important. Okay. Please, we need compassion. We need God's love. We need kindness in this world. Does it through us. But we have to be a willing vessel. Your office needs it. Your organization needs that kind of compassion and love and kindness. It does. Why are you going to leave it up to anyone else who doesn't understand? You understand the importance. So it's up to you to make the commitment to be that person. It's only you can do it. Only you can do it. So here you can see the triad: discipline, development, discipleship, how they all, y'all, relate. Discipleship, that discipline of praying for your leaders, praying for your team, trusting God in the midst of all the organizational change and uncertainty and threats to your sustainability. Y'all, that takes discipline. It takes development, wanting to know more about what has God already said about my situation, already promised about my outcome. You don't know it if you don't study what he said, right? So we have to be disciplined. We have to grow in development. Development requires discipline. Development is a part of our discipleship. So you see how these are all interrelated. It's so important. We have to be accountable for our discipline. We have to be accountable for our development, and we have to be accountable for discipleship. This for us. But these are also the very three things you need for sustainable success in whatever it is that God has called you to do. Powerful triad right here. So what are our action items? Number one is always number one. Pray about it, because it's too big, too complex, too important for you to try to do it on your own. That's number one. Number two, develop discipline through daily habits and routines. Y'all, it's so important. Start with a very short routine, just something short. Can you just wake up, and as soon as you wake up, can you say, just thank you? Thank you, Lord, for this day, and keep me like only you can. Wow. If you're not praying every morning as soon as you wake up, that's a good place to start. Simple and sweet, but it's powerful because from the moment you wake up, you've already commit your day to God. You already are leaning in on His grace. You know, you're asking for wisdom, you're asking for guidance from someone who knows more, who sees more, who's more powerful than you ever could be. We always talk about having a great mentor and how talking to a mentor for 1 hour can save you, years of questioning and looking and trying to figure it out. Why not go to God? Yeah. So, number 3, prioritize continuous learning and development. We need it. We don't know everything. We can't possibly know everything. In fact, let me say this really quickly. I was just talking to a young lady last week who was talking to me about her college aspirations for her graduate degree or her terminal degree. And she was like, I don't know what to do. Everything's changing so much. I said, yes, it is. And it's going to continue to change as much. So what I encourage her to do is think about the next 5 years. Why? Because that's how long your graduate degree is going to take for the terminal degree, typically, or longer, right? So what is it that you feel God is leading you to for these next 5 years? Because guess what? Regardless, you're still going to have to learn something. You're still going to have to develop. You're still going to have continuous training. Things change too much and things change too quickly. And so that's my advice to you as well. If you're thinking about, gosh, I don't know what I want to do for the next 10 years, 15, don't. Oh no, that's too far. Think about what you want to do for the next 5. Because after that, you're still going to have other things you need to learn. And I used this example with her. I said, too often we think we're going to settle into something when we don't even need to settle into something. You shouldn't settle into anything. Do you want a teacher teaching you based on what they learned in college 20 years ago? No, absolutely not. Tell me what you read in an article just yesterday or last week. What's the new research that's happening, right? But if that person doesn't have that desire, it's stale. And no one wants stale knowledge. We want fresh wisdom, okay? So always keep learning, keep developing. Number 4, build a temple. And those of you who were vertical or you saw my last sermon, you know what I'm talking about. Build a temple in regards to discipleship. But for those of you who don't know, really quickly, it's about the idea that God has called us to be the temple, and that is a work in progress. And you got to know that as a believer, that wherever you are, God is. God is at your organization because you're there. God is in the schools because you're there, right? God is at the grocery store because you're there. No one can take God out of anywhere. If they can't take you out, they can't take him out, okay? Because he is in you. And you need to walk in every room, in every situation. That when you showed up, it doesn't matter what anyone else believes, but when you showed up, God is there. And so when you know that, and that you're building the temple of God, even in your work, even in your business, even in your classroom, even in that district, even in that government building, you are building the temple every single day. Okay? A temple for God to dwell in. And so walk in that power, know who you are, embrace who you are, and walk in that authority that you have to speak to situations, to speak to chaos, and there be order. Yeah. And so walk in that because that is who you are. So, y'all, that's it. That's it. Those are action items. That is the conclusion of this series. I pray that it was a blessing to you. Comment, let me know, what did you think? What's your takeaway? from this series of the triads to live and lead by, where we talked about triad number one was about sustainability, purpose, passion, and power. The second one was fulfillment, how to get a fulfillment in our life, align, balance, and chill. And today, self accountability, okay, which was discipline, development, and discipleship. Y'all, these are just three of the triads that are part of my coaching and consulting philosophy. Okay. And I look forward to for you to get to know me better and the company and how we can help you. So, y'all, this is what I want you to do. You can scan the QR code up here in the top left-hand corner, okay? Or you can go to leadmyheart.com/book. Okay. And what I want you to do is schedule a free partnership call with me. And what is that going to be? It's going to be just a 15-minute call, free. I'm not charging you for this. Okay. Just to talk to me, get to know me, get to know my company more, and how we can help you. I want to get to know you. What do you need? What goals are you trying to reach? What things in leadership are you struggling with? Maybe it's personal and leadership. I do both. Why? Because as an executive, as a middle manager and up, as a CEO, as a founder, as a business owner, there really is difficulty in separating the two, right? Let's be honest. And so we have to be able to hit these things hard from the standpoint that this is life. It's not just personal, it's not just professional, it's life. And it's the life that God has called you to. But there's some tools and strategies that we need to be really intentional about to help you be okay. Because the weight of leadership is heavy. It is. But there's strategies and tools. There are ways to make it lighter. There are ways to be able to manage the high stakes, the heavy load that comes with being an executive. Okay, and so I'm here to help you with that. To not just give you personal strategies to help you, but also business strategies, leadership development as well. Okay, to help you be everything that God has called you to be. So book that free partnership call, okay? Okay, I'm going to hold you to it so I can see how I can get to know you and help you, okay? And here's my phone number, here's my social media handle, as well as my email. And just go on there, browse around, check out some blogs as well. Every week, I put out an article or two that could be a benefit to you. I'll also be starting a new newsletter for LinkedIn, curating some of my blog articles for you all in one space so you can check that out. Okay. Reach out to me if you have any questions. And y'all, this is it. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for joining me. And I wish you a wonderful day. And with everything you do and with everything you have, love God and love people. Goodbye, y'all.